So the 2024 Paris Olympics are finally coming to a close. Well, I mean, at least by the time I upload this video, I assume it's probably closed, and I tend to put off editing videos, and so who knows when this video is going to come out. But there were a lot of iconic and memorable moments, like the whole beef between Noah Lyles and the NBA, which luckily he clutched up, or he was never going to be able to live that down. Like, his kids would have had to been trash talked the entirety of their, school career. And there was the whole Turkish shooter thing that went viral because, he just looked really, really cool, especially the fact that he had no gear and was able to get a silver medal. Like, that's just ridiculous. And there was also the really cool surfer photo that went kind of viral. I mean, that's just a really sick photo, still shot. But yeah, overall there was a lot of really cool and iconic moments this Olympics, but there was also a lot of controversies. So this video is going to be going over those controversies that I can kind of think of. So, let me know down in the comments if there was something that I missed or something that you guys know about. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. So first things first, even before the Olympics started, there was a lot of strikes, protests, and just overall kind of I don't like this kind of feeling from the people that lived in Paris. Well, I mean, I don't really know what it's called on Wikipedia. It says Parisians. Parisians? I don't even know if that's a real word, but I assume it just means people that live in Paris. But supposedly, they really didn't want the Olympics to happen. Over half of the people, or half of the residents, were planning on just leaving the city completely during the period of the Olympics. And, that's kind of crazy, considering that there are people that are flying from all the way across the world just to watch the Olympics, and the people that are living there don't even want to watch it. And I guess that just kind of says a lot about how much it would disrupt their day-to-day lives with the kind of increase with visitors and tourists and all that kind of stuff. We had a lot of strikes occurring all over Paris. Just to name a few, there were the French airport workers who were demanding bonuses and more staff for the busy Olympic period, which, luckily they were able to come to a deal with the management, and they were able to get bonuses right before the Olympic ceremony, which would have been pretty bad. And then we had the dancers who accepted a form in the said Olympic ceremony protesting against low pay and poor working conditions. Like, that is just terrible. Like, what is going on here? And then workers at a hotel where IOC officials were staying, I'm not going to pronounce the name because I can't pronounce it, it's French and I am an American, but it held a 2-hour-long strike in the middle of the Olympics on 25th of July, essentially protesting the fact that they had no pay raises for 7 years. Like, that is just really sad. And so now that we kind of went over the little brief, controversies that happened even before the Olympic Games really started, we're going to start going into the actual meat of the games, with the first one being the opening ceremony. Now, the opening ceremony, I'm sure you guys have probably seen it. I mean, it's kind of hard to post it online just because NBC, I think, is the people that post and have the video rights to all that stuff. They will take down a video if you post it as not part of NBC, so it's kind of hard to get it out there. But essentially, if you don't know what happened, was during the opening ceremony, there was a scene that really kind of looked exactly like the Last Supper, which is kind of a Christian painting which depicts Jesus, I believe, with the 12 disciples. But later, Thomas Jolly, who was the artistic director, stated that they didn't base the opening ceremony off of the painting The Last Supper, which, some people believe, some people don't believe, and there was a lot of controversy surrounding that. And then we come into the whole Olympics village. Now, there's a lot to talk about in this one. First one, starting with the whole cardboard bed situation, which has been happening even from the previous Olympics, and which, if you guys don't know, was the whole situation in which the Olympics were using fragile cardboard beds instead of choosing hotel beds as a attempt to, well, make sure the athletes don't get freaky at night, if you know what I'm saying. What is really weird is, despite this, they still ended up handing out Olympic branded condoms, which, I mean, that's kind of a weird, if you're gonna do one thing, why not just go all the way through and just not hand condoms at all? But I don't know, it's kind of weird. And then next, there was the whole lack of air conditioning, which is ridiculous considering that it exceeds over 90 degrees Fahrenheit in Paris, or in Celsius, that's around 32 degrees. Sorry, I had to search that up real quick because I don't really use Celsius, but yeah, regardless, you can tell that it's very, very hot. And if you're an athlete that's trying to have a good night's rest before possibly the most important competition of your life, you don't want to have to sleep when you're, sweating your balls off, literally, because you don't have AC. So it got to the point where some countries gave their athletes AC, but that ended up with the whole kind of debate about, is it really fair to have some countries having AC and some countries not having AC, because obviously that kind of hurts your performance when it comes time to perform. So, that's just like a whole nother issue, which kind of really sucks for the athletes. I really feel sorry for them that they had to go through that. And continuing on the whole Olympic Village rant, the nutritions or the food supplies, especially high protein items like eggs or grilled meat, which are very, very important as an athlete because you really need to get your protein in order to recover your muscles properly. They were being rationed, which is really, really ridiculous. Like, out of all the foods that you could ration, you ration one of the most important ones. And so to come out of this, a lot of athletes, came out and stated that this hurt their performance. And I'm sure it really did, because the last thing you want to have to worry about when you are, worrying about competition is if you're getting proper nutrition and sleep. Like, those are the two most important things that you can have to recover properly. Now, next we have concerns over health and environment safety, which is kind of the meat of the whole controversy surrounding this, and I'm sure you might have heard it. But first of all, we're going to tackle the whole Seine River. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But the Seine River, okay, I'm going to search this up real quick actually. Okay, I was correct. But the Seine River had a lot of controversy surrounding the safety and its overall cleanness. And it goes way back into the 1920s. So to start it off, way back in the 1920s, in 1923, the Olympics actually banned swimming in the Seine River due to unsafe bacteria. And then since then, people mostly don't really swim in it. In 2017, divers did use the Seine River in an exhibition event, but ahead of the games, with since 2015, a dedicated cleanup operation costing $1.5 billion took place to make sure that the Seine River was safe in. But this obviously failed because tests, even in 2023 and even during the Olympics, failed many times, to the point where the triathlon would have to be moved from July 28th to the 31st. And if you are an athlete of any kind, you know that you kind of schedule your days and weeks around the upcoming competition, and if all of a sudden the competition day just moves, that is just terrible. Like, especially waking up on the day thinking you're going to perform, and then suddenly they just tell you, oh, actually we can't do that because the water is just too dirty. Like, what? And not to mention, despite all of this moving to try to make sure that it's safe and whatever, on August 3rd, a Swiss triathlete ended up becoming ill with a stomach infection. And then on August 4th, a Belgian team had to pull out of the mixed relay triathlon because one of their triathletes became ill with E. coli. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous and should not be happening at the Olympic Games. Now, all the way out in Tahiti, which is not at the Paris, but it was technically a part of the Paris Olympic Games where the surfing competitions were held, the Olympic Committee ended up building a 9-ton aluminum tower in order for the judges to kind of, be able to actually judge the surfing competition. But harsh criticism was drawn from locals and surfers, saying that it threatened to damage the coral reef and that the currently existing wooden tower could be used. But obviously they didn't do that, and they still built this 9-ton aluminum tower despite the fact that there was already a wooden tower there. And then now next up we have more of controversies surrounding individuals and people involved within the Olympics, and some of these are absolutely just ridiculous, and some of these are just kind of sad. But I mean, yeah, we're gonna have to cover it, so let's get right into it. So first of all, arguably I think one of the worst things that have happened in the committee of, Olympics is the fact that the Dutch selected Steven van de Velde to represent them in beach volleyball. And what is absolutely mind-boggling about this is that he pleaded guilty, I did not say this wrong, guilty in 2016 to 3 counts of raping a 12-year-old child. 3 counts! 1 count is bad enough. 3 counts is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I genuinely cannot comprehend what went through the Dutch Olympic Committee's mind when selecting him. Like I'm sure, even if he is, say, the LeBron James of beach volleyball, and he was gonna win the gold for the Olympics, like, how was he allowed to do this? Like, this is just ridiculous. The head of the Netherlands volleyball kind of coach or federation was asked about this decision. He said that, he was convicted at the time according to English law, and he served his sentence. So now he's fully reintegrated into the Dutch volleyball community. And so that was it. Like, that's just ridiculous. We're moving on. And then we have a little bit more funnier things, in which on August 7th, an Australian field hockey player, Tom Craig, was arrested by police after seen purchasing cocaine from an underage dealer on the streets. Craig was eventually released without charge, where he would lose all of his remaining Olympic privileges, and he would miss the closing ceremony, which is kind of sad, but at the same time, that's kind of what you get for trying to buy cocaine while you're in Paris during the Olympics. Like, he couldn't wait a little bit until he got back to Australia. Like, I don't know, man. So yeah, that's gonna be about it for this video. I'm sure there are some controversies that I missed. These are just like the main ones that I can think of off the top of my head, that I remember that was, kind of going viral or whatever throughout the Olympics. But yeah, if there was something that I missed, then there's like a controversy that you guys personally like or think is crazy, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, I mean, that's just gonna be about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to, leave a like if you want to. I mean, yeah, it's up to you guys. But that's about it. See ya.